And welcome to episode 20 of A Bit of Everything. I'm Henry Higgins.
And I'm Josh Higgins.
And Josh is back from his little trip. He was in America for almost 2 weeks. Got back on Friday, very tired, but we went and watched Avengers Endgame yesterday. And we are now recording this review today, which is Sunday. As with our previous reviews, the first part is non-spoiler, so if you haven't seen the movie, stay tuned for the first few minutes. Just find out what our general opinions of the film is. If you have seen the movie, stay after the jump to find out more in depth of what we thought of various set pieces and things that happen in the film. Leave your comments below if you agree with our assessments or if you have a different take on certain things. But without any further ado, let's get into what our initial opinions are of Avengers Endgame. Okay, so first and foremost, did you enjoy the movie?
Yes, I loved the movie.
It's a bit of an understatement, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've got our notes here, just in case you wonder why we're looking down. It's an exhausting movie in the best possible way. It's a cliche, but it's an emotional roller coaster. You will laugh, you will cry, you will whoop, cheer, you will gasp in shock, surprise, and by the end of the movie you will have experienced everything that's there. And what needs to be touched on, it has been rumoured through obviously all the build-up that all the trailers we see, for the most part, everything you see in the trailers happens in the first 15-20 minutes of the movie. Yeah?
Yeah.
Actually, possibly even the first 10 to 15 minutes. They've done a fantastic job of not spoiling anything that happens in the movie that has any impact. What you see in the trailers is kind of what you expected from where the story ended off anyway.
Yeah.
So you're in for a ton of surprises, you're in for a ton of amazing moments. Pretty much every character gets at least one chance to shine, yeah?
Yeah.
And for a 3-hour movie, it flies by, you know. There was a joke coming in, because obviously it's a 3-hour movie, when can we go to the toilet? Basically, there isn't a moment in this film
They can have a break.
that there's a break. It starts off a little slow, but that's to be expected. The Avengers got their arse kicked, didn't they? In the previous movies, everyone's a bit dejected, and that's where we start, which is when you see the trailers. But it's a really hard movie to review in the sense of not giving anything away. So we're not going to go into any details of who's in the movie and what they do. What I will say is the Russo brothers, who have done the Captain America movies from Civil War, well, from Winter Soldier, and Civil War. They've done Endgame, and they did Infinity War before this. They are amazing with these ensemble things. Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, bravo on the writing job you did here to get so many characters, so many moments in the movie. There is a lot of callbacks to the previous Avengers movies, so going in cold isn't the best option. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
There was a woman behind us in the movie, in the theatre, sorry, and she'd obviously never seen an MCU movie before. And while some of the movies you can come in and having never seen, even the first Avengers movie, you can probably get away with that without having really seen any of the previous films. With this one, you'll enjoy it, but like this woman, you're going to be asking, who's that? Why is he upset with this? Why is she upset with that? And she spent the majority of the movie just asking questions of what people were doing and why they were on the screen. So yeah, this isn't the movie to just walk into. That being said, you thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. It wraps the entire Infinity Saga up perfectly. And it's a 22 movie saga. Yeah?
Yeah.
22 movies, and I was talking to you about it yesterday, that you were born in 2007, so you were 1 when Iron Man 1 came out.
Yeah.
And then you were a little bit older. So you've got to see all of this. This is your only experience really of superhero movies, this current run. Whereas like I'm a little older and I grew up with the Superman movies, the Tim Burton Batman movies, even going into like the Blade movies, the Sam Raimi movies, the X-Men movies. But there was never a shared universe like this, and to do over 22 movies that are consistently good, if not great, you know you've got a good series when Thor: The Dark World is your low point, because it's a fun movie. It is the worst in the MCU. I think that's universally accepted. But this kind of thing, a 22 movie saga, has never been done before like this, and it will never be done again. I mean, people will throw up, oh, James Bond is on 25 movies. His next movie is his 25th movie. Yeah, but that's not a complete story from beginning to end. You could jump in. Yeah, I would say the Daniel Craig movies kind of are sequels to each one, so maybe those ones. But generally speaking, the James Bond movies were all standalone stuff, for the most part. And they had a lot longer to do it as well. This is 22 movies in 10, 11 years. And they have all followed on and built on what they've got, which is why we have this film here. And this does build on everything that's been leading up to it. And it delivers. It's not perfect. There are some little niggles here and there. But again, it's a 3-hour movie with like 100 people in the cast. So for me, and I know I've done most of the talking on this section, Josh will pipe in more when we're talking about the more specific stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's what the MCU is. It's what the MCU was always meant to be, and it is the best movie in the MCU. Obviously, people will have their favourites. This is, for me, it's the perfect end to this saga, and it lets us move perfectly on to, well, Spider-Man Far From Home is the end of this Phase 3. The Infinity Saga ended with Endgame, but Phase 3 ends with Far From Home. Then, we don't know. There's nothing been announced after that. I mean, we know there's Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because James Gunn wrote it and is now back on directing it, but we don't know when that's going to come out because it should have been next year. We know there's Far From Home. We know there's going to be a Doctor Strange 2. We know there's going to be a Black Panther 2. But they're not officially announced. The only thing we have to look forward to guaranteed is Far From Home. So it's an exciting thing. We don't know where they're going to go with this. But this wraps up the spoiler-free part of the review. Go and see it. It's a wonderful achievement, pretty much in every aspect of filmmaking. It's the most emotional time I think I've had at a cinema as it relates to being up and down and every which way. Definite 5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Just quick summary, what is your thoughts on the movie?
I think it was definitely a solid 5-star movie for me.
Yeah.
All the characters, all the actors played the characters so well, as they always do.
Yeah.
But amazing acting from a lot of the film. Just overall, it was an amazing MCU film.
Yeah. So 5 out of 5 from me, 5 out of 5 from Josh. Top marks, 2 thumbs up, cool from both of us. So that does it for the spoiler-free section of the video. Thank you very much for staying with us to this point. If you haven't seen the movie, please don't watch any further. Go into Endgame with as little information as possible. If you have seen the movie, or if you're not fussed about spoilers for some reason, join us after this where we go into much more depth over the movie itself. Okay, for those of you who weren't snapped out of existence by Josh and have seen the movie, this is basically us going into in depth now, so we are going to go into some great detail over the film. And basically, it's a cold open with a little section from the trailer you see with Hawkeye with his family. Yeah. He's teaching his daughter how to shoot the bow, and she's pretty damn good. Yeah. And then it happens.
They all get snapped out of existence, like everyone else, by Thanos.
Yeah, but Hawkeye doesn't know what's going on, and that's the problem. He has no idea. Because if you remember after Civil War, Hawkeye and Ant-Man, especially because they had families, were get put under house arrest. So they had to stay. They weren't allowed to do any hero stuff, but they were basically not imprisoned. So Hawkeye's got his ankle bracelet on, and he's on his farm with his wife and kids. He's happy, and then they're snapped out of existence. And that's the cold open. Then we get the title of the movie. Yeah, tells us that. And we find out that it's only been 23 days. Yeah, and like in the trailer, again, we mentioned in the previous section, the majority of the trailers this first 10-15 minutes of the movie. So the end credit scene from Captain Marvel when she arrives and goes, "Where's Fury?" That's not in this film. That was the bridge between Captain Marvel and this one. Even though Captain Marvel was filmed after Endgame, which makes a mockery of all those people who are online saying, "Told you the Russo brothers didn't want her in the movie. She hardly features in the film. It's because they didn't like her." Well, no, because they wouldn't have known the reaction of the Captain Marvel movie because this was filmed long before she even filmed any of that, never mind when it was released. The main reason Captain Marvel is kept out of the fight is the same reason Hulk wasn't in Civil War. He's too powerful. Whichever side in Civil War, whatever side Hulk was on, wins. That was that simple. It's also why Thor wasn't involved either. Again, they're too powerful for this situation. So Captain Marvel is too powerful a character. But the movie cuts from the opening with Hawkeye to Tony and Nebula on the Benatar, the ship. And it makes sense. They both survived on time. They're both on the ship. And there's a nice little montage with... They're stuck. They can't do anything. There's no fuel left. And so they play like flick football, like we used to play here as well, where you make the goal, you just flick a piece of paper over it. And it humanises Nebula amazingly well. But they know they're not getting rescued. They're adrift in space. From the trailer, Tony records the message that Pepper Potts talks about, and then he goes to sleep. And it looks like this is it. He's not going to wake up from this sleep because the oxygen is going to run out. He will die in his sleep. So Nebula places him in one of the chairs of the ship and just leaves him there. And then what happens?
So the movie takes a close shot of Iron Man's face when he's moving around trying to get to sleep because there's a bright light coming. And all you see is Iron Man's teeth first, and then his whole face slowly growing redder, and then yellow. And all you see is a bright light outside the window.
Who could it be?
It's Captain Marvel.
It is Captain Marvel. And of course it's Captain Marvel. She's one of the few that can travel at light speed, or close to light speed. And she can fly in space. There's no issues there. And people are going, "Oh, but how did she know where he is?" Well, they can piece some things together, and it's also possible Pepper was receiving the messages from Iron Man's helmet, and they triangulated where it was, and she went and got them. She brings them home, and again, this is in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So she brings them home on the ship. Yeah, she flies. She actually carries Superman style, carries the ship back to Earth, puts it down, and there's some really touching reunion scenes. Pepper and Tony hug, and Nebula and Rocket. Oh,
Yeah.
it's in the trailer, but when they hold hands because they realise they've lost everyone, all of the friends are all gone, and Rocket didn't know who died over there, and Nebula didn't know who died on Titan. Rocket knew Groot had gone. They didn't know the rest of them had gone, and it's so touching. But Tony's a mess. I mean, he was almost killed again in space, and we cut to what they're going to do. Because they don't know where Thanos is, but then Gamora says that he was going to go to the garden, which was always his end point. Once he did his snap, he was going to go and retire because his job was done. And like we saw at the end of Infinity War, that's what he did. He went on a farm. But then an energy signature is detected, and it's the same energy signature from when the snap was done on Earth.
Yeah.
And they pinpointed to a planet, so they know what he is now.
Yeah.
And this is where we get the thing in the trailer where they're arguing over. They're just going to go and get him. Yeah? And they're talking about how we're a little undermined. And this is from the trailer where Captain Marvel says, well, what's going different? And she says, well, you didn't have me.
Yeah.
And people are going crazy over this and lambasting her, not realising she didn't decide to say this. The writers wrote that line for her. So this was always the plan. And the best of it is, she's right. Because what happens? They decide that they're going to go and get the stones from Thanos, and they're going to reverse what he did. So, what goes on from there?
Well, first thing, Captain Marvel just says, I'm going to go kill Thanos. It's by herself, and then that obviously doesn't happen. They don't let her go herself.
No.
So they all go up in a ship
Yep.
to the planet.
And
then they send Captain Marvel out for a recon.
Yep.
And there was no defence, no armies, anything. It was just Thanos on his farm.
Yeah, because he's done. He's happy. And then, as I say, they're proved right because they didn't have Captain Marvel before. Now they do. Thanos is just sitting there. He's all burned and scarred. It looks like the Infinity Gauntlet has actually been welded onto his hand. It's burnt, fused to his hand. And Captain Marvel swoops in, plasma blasts him, puts him in a chokehold. Thor cuts his Infinity arm off.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa!
That was quick.
Yeah, and then they pick up the gauntlet, but there's no stones in it.
No.
And Thanos says, but you just used them. And Thanos says, yeah, I used the stones to destroy the stones. So that what I have done cannot be undone. And then a few of them are like, no, he's lying.
And then...
But Nebula says, my father is many things, but he's not a liar.
Yeah.
And he thanks his daughter for that, and is about to go into a monologue.
But when Thor chops his head off with the Stormbreaker.
Just out of nowhere, whoomph, head on screen as well for a PG-13 movie. Whoomph, straight on screen. And you're like, whoa!
And then he said, well, aim for the head. And then
I went for the head. And people are like, whoa! No, so then the main villain of the movie has been killed off in the first 15 minutes of the film. And you're like, oh, where do we go from here? And where we go from here is 5 years later.
Yeah.
Because, and it's brilliantly done, they realise that the Infinity Stones don't exist anymore. So it cannot be undone. They can't undo what was done. So they go back to Earth, and it's 5 years later, and the Avengers are still doing their thing. So, on Earth, Black Widow's running everything, Tony's not involved anymore. Cap's running a self-help group, a PTSD group for survivors, and the other Avengers are just doing their thing. So War Machine is actually looking for someone who's killing the gangs in around the world, which we know to be Hawkeye, Ronan. We've seen that from the trailer. And Rocket and such like and Nebula are doing things in the galaxy. So is Captain Marvel. And Captain Marvel says that you're probably not going to see me much anymore. She's got short hair now.
Yeah.
So she's doing her thing, helping other planets. And that's fine, and they're all just getting along. Until the one, because they think Ant-Man's missing as well, but he's not. We know where Ant-Man is. And what happens with Ant-Man?
Well, a rat or mouse accidentally stands on this little programmer in the van, sets off the return.
Yeah, the quantum tunnel gets kicked back into gear.
Yeah.
And it spits him out.
Yeah. And he has no clue where he is, no clue when.
No, he has no clue. He's just been stuck in the quantum realm. He doesn't know Thanos did this thing. He didn't even know who Thanos was.
So then he goes over to the graveyard of all the...
Well, he walks out, doesn't he, and he sees that places are deserted, there's missing posters everywhere, kind of gets an idea of what's going on, and then he sees, it's like a 9/11 type thing, where there's like plaques of names of who's gone missing, or the vanished as they called it, and of course he's panicking, so he's looking for his wife and his his ex-wife and his daughter, and he doesn't see them, but he sees himself.
And he's like, what?
Yeah. So then he runs to his ex-wife's house, his daughter's house, knocks on the door, and Cassie's there. Cassie Lang is there, but she's not a little girl anymore. No, because 5 years have passed, so she's a late teenager now. And that's when he realises something drastic has happened, because 5 years has passed for us. Well, 23 days in 5 years.
Yeah.
But for him, it's only been 5 hours.
Yeah.
Which gives him the idea that time travel is a possibility, because time works differently in the quantum realm. This was a lot of theories before the movie came out also. So he goes to Avengers HQ, which is where Black Widow and Cap are, which is again from the trailer, where he's trying to buzz in, and that's where he explains what's going on. He's been missing, and the quantum realm thing could work, but they need to speak to someone who's smart enough to actually get their head around this. And there's only one person with a big enough brain, and that person is
Hulk, but Professor Hulk.
Professor Hulk. And this is phenomenal. 5 years has passed. And again, some people are criticising that, we didn't get to see him become Professor Hulk in the process of him learning how to have Banner's intelligence brain with Hulk's brawn. And it's like, but 5 years has passed. We don't need to see everything everyone was doing. We just need to know it's been done. And his analogy for it is he always thought of Hulk as a virus, a disease to eradicate from his body.
Yeah.
Where he realised Hulk was to cure. A cure, it was an evolution, this is who he was meant to be. And since he found that inner peace, he can meld both of them. And it's hilarious, isn't it? He's sitting there, he's clothed, he's having his lunch, taking selfies for kids.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. So they try and do the time travel thing. Time travel is a go. And they have this kind of awkward thing where they try it out. They go and see Tony first, don't they? They go and see Tony. Tony's not interested in doing this at all. Tony has a daughter. If you remember in Infinity War, Pepper was pregnant. They have a daughter, Morgan Stark, who was a character in the comics, but he was like Tony's uncle, I want to say, cousin. He's an adult male anyway. But he's got a daughter, he has a wife, he's no longer involved in the superhero stuff, he's effectively retired, and while it's a disaster for humanity as a whole, his life is fine. He's happy where he is. Obviously it preys on him still, but he's came out of it better than a lot of people did. and he's quite happy with that. So he's not interested in what they're talking about, but it does put seeds in. But there is a bit of a tiff between him and Captain America, because there's, again, in this movie there's a lot of callbacks to previous things. One of the callbacks is Avengers Age of Ultron, where they're talking about how Tony Stark in that movie says we'll lose, and Captain America says well, we'll do that together too. But Captain America, when they lost in Infinity War, him and Tony Stark and Captain America were not together.
No.
And he's like, well, you weren't there. You said we would lose together and we didn't. You weren't there. And he says, this is what we do. You know, we're always after the fact. We're the Avengers, not the pre-Vengers. We don't prevent anything, we just react. Yeah. And this is why I want a suit of armour around the world. You remember that? So it's quite fraught emotionally, so they leave. And they try the time travel thing themselves. And while it works, they're not quite getting it right, because they try it with Ant-Man, and they're not sending Ant-Man through time, they're sending time through Ant-Man. So Scott Lang is himself, then he's a kid, an old man, a baby, and then himself again.
Yeah.
But then your boy Tony Stark invents time travel properly, just messing around. So him and Pepper have a little heart-to-heart to talk about it. And he decides to help. This is, again, you've maybe seen some of the set photos. They've got little devices on their wrists. Basically, it's like a quantum GPS. So they can set coordinates, which will actually get them out of the time vortex at the correct time they want to be in.
Yeah.
And this is where things start to go. This is where, in one of the trailers would say, you've got your mission. So they have to go and round up all the Avengers again, don't they?
Yeah.
So they have to find Hawkeye. They have to find Thor. They have to basically get everyone back together to do this, because they need everyone involved in the mission. So Black Widow goes to get Hawkeye, and he's in Japan as Ronin, killing the Yakuza. And again, this is on screen as well. You see a guy get his throat slit on screen. For a PG-13 movie, that was a shock in itself, because blood and everything. And then they go to New Asgard to get Thor. Who was it again? It was Rocket, wasn't it? It wasn't just Rocket, was it Rocket and War Machine? I can't remember now.
Rocket and Hulk.
Yeah, it was Rocket and Hulk, sorry. Yeah, they go to, because he was in the back of the car.
Yeah.
So they go to New Asgard, which is in Norway, but it was filmed in Scotland, and they get a nice little bottle of Iron Brew in there, just a little homage to Scotland. And as Kevin Smith said in his review, if you go and watch that, this is a ballsy thing that they did, is Thor's fat. I can finally cosplay Thor properly. But yeah, Thor's basically given up, because he blames himself, which is why he's all broody and mopey in the trailer. Blames himself for not going for the head. And then he blames himself again because Thanos destroyed the stone, so they can't undo what they're going to do. So Thor is the king of New Asgard, but he doesn't care.
No.
All he does is drink beer and play Fortnite. And who does he play Fortnite with?
Plays it with Korg and Meek.
Korg and Meek. Korg and Meek survived. Did Valkyrie, we saw her as well.
Yeah.
So all of them, as we thought, made it off the ship, or were allowed to leave the ship when Thanos attacked at the beginning of Infinity War. They've made it to Earth, they've gone New Asgard, they're all happy about it. Thor's not interested in the fight, but then they explain to him that they can undo it. They can fix everything. So now everyone's involved, we've got our teams, we've got our missions, and this is where all the callbacks, and it's fan service to the nth degree really. And it's all the callbacks to, if you've watched all the previous movies, you'll get such a kick out of this. They even reference the time travel movies of like Back to the Future, Terminator, and such, like say time travel's not like that. You change one thing, this reality still exists, it branches off into something else. So they come up with the realization that they're going to collect all the Infinity Stones before Thanos can. going to go back in time, collect them all, and use them to bring everyone back, but then put them all back again, so that the timeline remains as it is. Yeah?
Yep.
And so they decide to go in teams, where they're going to go back to the various movies.
Yeah.
And they realise that at a certain point in time, 3 of the stones are in New York. 3 of them. Time Stone, Space Stone, and Mind Stone are all in New York during the Battle of New York in Avengers 1.
Yes.
So, Captain America, Iron Man, and Hulk go to New York. And this is where there's so many little things, because we see the Battle of New York as it's going on. And then one of the best of the early funny scenes is we see 2012 just angry Hulk wrecking stuff.
Yeah.
And then Professor Hulk has to pretend to be angry Hulk. How does he do it?
Well, he just goes up to a car and just goes, ah.
It's so gratuitous
then
when
throws
he's
a
naked.
bike.
Yeah, he doesn't throw a bike.
Yeah.
But his job is to go and get the Time Stone from the Ancient One.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is we see the Battle of New York, but we see it at the Sanctum Sanctorum, where they're fighting the Chitauri as well. They just were never featured in the Avengers movie. So that's kind of cool, because with the events and everything, we knew the Sanctum was there, we knew like the stone was there, we knew everything else. But the Ancient One is fighting the Chitauri as well. And then Banner tries to get the stone from her.
Yeah.
And she does her Hadouken thing and knocks Banner's spirit out of Hulk, his astral self.
Yeah.
And they have a nice little chat about why they can't do this, why they can do this. And he explains, look, we'll take the stone and yes, time will branch off because it's a new timeline. But we will come back to this exact moment and put the stone back, which will take the branch away and the timeline will continue on as normal. But she's now not going to give him the stone.
No.
Because they are sworn to protect it for all time. And Hulk mentions Doctor Strange.
Gave it away.
Gave it away. And she's like, well, Doctor Strange isn't due here for another 5 years. Which is a nice little callback. So she can see time as not a linear thing as well. But when she hears that he willfully gave it away, she knows there must be a reason for it. Because he was the best of us all. He's destined to be the best of us all. Yeah. So she does give him the Time Stone. So we've got one. The other 2 we need to get are the Space Stone and the Mind Stone. So it cuts to... Oh, Ant-Man is here as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it cuts to Ant-Man and Iron Man, our time Iron Man, going to Avengers Tower. At the moment they've defeated Loki, and Loki says, I think I'll have that drink now. It's kind of cool, we have all of that. Then it's just wonderful. We see it from a different angle. They actually reshot this as well, which is cool. So we see it from a different angle. We also see why Loki gets the mouthpiece put on him, because he won't shut up. And then Hulk's not allowed to get in the lift.
So he's running down the stairs and he just shouts, so many stairs, like Hulk hates stairs.
Yeah. Which comes back to haunt them because we've got the Tesseract in the briefcase.
Yeah.
And our Tony Stark has it, but gets knocked down by
Hulk
because Hulk slams the door. Head stairs! And then Loki ends up getting the Tesseract. He sees it getting kicked around. He's like, there's a lot going on. So Loki grabs the Tesseract and just disappears. So now we're like, oh no. But this also means now that this timeline has changed. Loki may still be alive in the MCU now.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. So they didn't bring him back to life, but time travel is tricky. Robert Redford is back as well, which is amazing. They got Robert Redford to come back.
Yeah.
As Alexander Pierce. So he does another cameo. They get Sitwell back, they get so many other people back just for little cameos here and there. And then Captain America is tasked with getting the Mind Stone,
Yeah.
which is with Jasper Sitwell, Brock Rumlow, and a few others. And Captain America goes to go in a lift, and they're already in it, aren't
Yeah.
they? And it's such a callback to Winter Soldier, that amazing fight in the lift, and we think we're going to get that as well. We think we're going to get that scene repeated, because Captain America already knows what happens in that lift. He's lived through it. So he gets the Rumlow, and he says that he's been ordered by the Secretary to take the case with the Mind Stone,
Yeah.
with the scepter, but they don't want to give it to him. So we're all ready for a fight,
Yeah.
but we don't get a fight, do
Yeah.
we? Why not?
Captain America whispers in one of their ears, "Hail Hydra."
Yeah.
Which
is great, because he knows they're Hydra agents at this point. He knows it's all been infiltrated. And it's a lovely little callback to the Secret Invasion type thing they did as well, where Captain America in the comics was Hydra, said Hail Hydra. And it's such a brilliant callback, and he has a knowing smirk when he walks away from the lift.
Yeah.
And he tells our Iron Man that he's away, he's clean, he's free, he's got away. But then someone gets in his way. Yeah? He's not clear and free. Who gets in his way?
This timeline, Captain America.
Yeah. That's America's ass. So yeah, Captain America, 2012 Captain America thinks Loki's escaped, because Loki can change what he looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah? And they fight. So Captain America fights Captain America, and it's absolutely brilliant. And 2012 Cap is a little undermatched, because obviously our Captain America has had more training, he's more battle hardened through what he's been through.
Yeah.
And he gets away with it by telling him Bucky's alive. And then they do get the Mind Stone. So they tell Scott Lang to go back to our time.
Yeah.
Hulk's already gone back with the Time Stone. Tell Ant-Man to go back with the Mind Stone. But they don't have the Tesseract. So they decide they're going to go back to the 70s. Because Tony Stark knows where it is. So we go to the 70s, Stan Lee cameo. Happy, sad moment. And they break into S.H.I.E.L.D. back then. Cap sees Peggy Carter, heartbreaking. Tony sees his dad, heartbreaking. They get the Tesseract. Tony and his dad talk about what it's like to be fathers. It's so touching. Jarvis is in it, from Agent Carter. The actual actor who played Jarvis is in it as well. They've tied everything that they could into it. They couldn't get the Netflix characters in, but that's a rights issue more than anything else. Pretty much everyone else they managed to sneak in here. So Loki's gone, but they've got the Tesseract now, so they all come back. That's mission 1 done. Mission 2 is Fat Thor and Rocket, who Tony calls Ratchet and Clank. They go to the time of the Dark World, and it's the day of the invasion of the Dark Elves. Yeah, when the day his mother dies, and Fat Thor is heartbroken about it because he sees his mum, doesn't he? But he can't talk to her, he can't warn her, because the rules of time travel, if you change one thing, it changes everything. And he tries to hide from her, but she finds him. And they have a wonderful heart-to-heart with... Frigga knows this isn't her time's Thor. You can always tell just by looking at him. But Frigga knows this isn't her time's Thor. She was raised by witches, she says. And they have a beautiful heart-to-heart. And then she says something that twigs in Thor of what he's destined to be. And then in another punch-the-air moment, he also realises where he is, when he is, and because he's there, his favourite hammer is also there.
Yeah.
And he gets Mjolnir back. Which does leave a little plot hole, which means Thor no longer has Mjolnir.
Who doesn't have a hammer?
Yeah. but he doesn't need a hammer because he's not the god of hammers. So Thor gets Mjolnir back, so he now has Stormbreaker and Mjolnir. So Rocket gets the Ether, the Reality Stone, from Jane Foster, who appears in the movie, Natalie Portman. It's reused footage, or unused footage, sorry, from the actual Thor 2, but she did record new dialogue, so she technically came back as well. So we now have the Reality Stone, and Thor has 2 hammers. They go back to normal time, which leaves 2 stones. We've got the Power Stone and the Soul Stone. And the Power Stone, we know, is in Morag, which is the planet where Guardians of the Galaxy opens with Peter Quill doing his little song and dance while he's going to get the Power Stone. And like the other things we've seen here, we're seeing events from movies we've seen already, but we're seeing them from a different angle, because War Machine and Nebula have gone here to get this one, yeah? And what was the funniest part of this little section?
Well, so you could hear, obviously, the song that Quill likes to sing.
Yeah.
And he's just dancing around, and then you cut to War Machine and Nebula, and you can just hear him singing.
Yeah.
Without the music.
Yeah, and he's not a good singer.
And War Machine just says, so he's an idiot then.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like with anyone, when you have headphones on and you're singing along, you're in tune and you're loving it. But the people outside, all they can hear is you singing. And then War Machine just punches them. They go and get the Power Stone. And then War Machine's got the Power Stone. And him and Nebula are going to go back in time.
Yeah.
Jump forward in time, back to our time with the stone. But then Nebula can't. She gets stuck. And the reason she gets stuck is because old Nebula is also there as well.
Yeah.
And because of the circuitry and everything else, they get crossed wires. And in a brilliant touch, old Nebula, who's obviously been made a lot more machine than human, or more machine than biology, by Thanos, literally projects out of her eye memories that she's not had yet, because they're from current time Nebula.
Yeah.
And it shows Nebula turns on Thanos. It shows that Gamora turns on Thanos. But it also shows Thanos that he actually succeeds. Because the reason they're here is to stop him doing it. So he knows he succeeds. So old Nebula gets captured. Old Nebula captures new Nebula. Changes a head plate so that she looks like our time's Nebula.
Yeah.
Goes back to our time. Current Nebula is kept prisoner by Thanos, and they concoct a plan to get Thanos back to our time using the Pym particles time. So that's all going on as well, and that's an amazing reveal of how we get Thanos back in the movie as the crux villain, because like I say, he was killed very quickly in the opening scenes. We go to Volmir, where the Soul Stone is kept. And again, Red Skull appears, talks what he says with Hawkeye and Black Widow, and introduces himself and greets them the same way he does by mentioning them by name and who their father is. Hawkeye, who doesn't know Red Skull, asks how he can believe them, and Black Widow says, because I don't even know who my father is. And he explains to him, like he did to Thanos, the only way to get the Soul Stone is by sacrifice. A soul for a soul. So then they both agree that one of them has to sacrifice themselves, but they both want to be that person. And they fight over it.
Yeah.
But Black Widow wins.
Yeah.
And she dies. And that's another heartbreaking moment in the movie of how it's done. And a lot of this is eerily similar to Scarlet Witch's the dream that she gave to Tony Stark, the visions, where he saw all this destruction and the invasion of Earth and all the Avengers broken and dead in front of him. And she's lying dead in the position she was in that vision, so it's quite creepy in a good way. But Hawkeye gets the Soul Stone, goes back to our time. We now have all the stones.
Yeah.
And all the callbacks and everything else, hilarious, fun, but now we're down to business. And the plan is, we just undo what Thanos did. We get all the stones, we snap everyone back into existence. Yeah? And that's what they do. They actually do it. They argue over who's going to do the gauntlet. Thor says it should be him, but he's in no condition.
Yeah.
He's a god, so he probably could take it, but mentally, no, he's all over the place. So Professor Hulk decides to do it. Hulk wields the Infinity Gauntlet, and they built it like an Iron Man gauntlet. Yeah. But it expands around Hulk's hand and is designed to hold the stones in place, and is designed to withstand the force it will do. And Hulk snaps everyone back into existence. We think. We don't know. It burns Hulk and messes up his arm. And we're wondering, did it work? And then Hawkeye gets a phone call from his wife. And again, that's another gut punch, tears, eyes welling up moment. Because we know they're back. They brought them back. And then they're reminiscing about it. They don't get much time to do it though, because then Thanos attacks.
Yeah. The Ant-Man goes out into the like a little viewing point.
Yeah, and then just gets smashed.
Smashed like
yeah, because because of the amount of energy that's going to be released, they shutter the whole Avengers Tower in, do the snap, open the towers up, and then suddenly the birds are here and everything's back to what it was. But crucially, the people who disappeared in the snap came back as they were when the snap happened. So for them, again, 5 years hasn't passed. They're aware of what's happened. They're aware they got dusted and they disappeared or they vanished. But they're back now, and everyone is back. So there'll be certain things where maybe a twin got vanished and the other one didn't. So the vanished twin came back, and now his twin or her twin is 5 years older. So that can be kind of messed up. But they get everyone back. But that was Thanos' plan. Because he knew if he can get all the stones there, he doesn't have to hunt them. So they actually changed the course of all the movies in the sense of, well, Thanos didn't hunt the stones down. He didn't have to. So it also means that Nova Prime, hasn't been destroyed. It means the Collector hasn't been destroyed because the Reality Stone was never given to him. And so it does change a fair bit actually in that regard. But Thanos comes in with his ship, his massive ship, which has the Q ships in it. So all the children of Thanos are back in the movie as well.
Yeah.
Pretty much everyone is back through time travel or the snap, or the reverse snap. And then we have a battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, and things are going on and people are fighting and they're getting somewhere. And Cap's shield gets destroyed. Thanos just punches it until it breaks. Thor is fighting with both hammers.
One hammer gets knocked out.
Yeah.
Thanos is starting to
push
do the
Stormbreaker through his chest.
The same thing.
Him. Yeah.
And then
the punch the air moment of the movie.
Yeah.
Because Thor's getting pushed and we see Mjolnir shaking. Like he's done before when he's called it, but he's not calling it. Who's calling it?
Captain America. He finally came worthy after all these.
Captain America freaking has Mjolnir in his hand. And he's whacked Thanos in the back of the head with it and called it back. And Thor's over the moon about this. He's spinning it. He smacks Thanos around. He's beating the crap out of him. Iron Man's been beaten down. Captain Marvel has been beaten down. No, sorry, I'm jumping ahead of myself. Thanos is beaten down. He's beaten down Iron Man. He's beaten them all down. But Cap's getting him. But then eventually he manages to get Cap down as well. And it looks like all is lost until we hear through Cap's earpiece, "On your left." And that's a callback to Civil War. Is it Civil War? Maybe wrong. No, Civil War, when Cap would run laps around Falcon and say "on your left." And then portals open. So many portals open.
Yeah.
With everyone coming in. All the Sorcerer Supremes are here. Everyone is here. Spider-Man comes back. Falcon, M'Baku, Black Panther, Scarlet Witch comes back. And she goes straight after Thanos. And Thanos like, I don't even know who you are. And she's like, you will. And she starts ripping him apart. Using her power. She's so angry and is so emotional. And he orders a bombardment. Just wipe it out. Just wipe it out. And Ebony was like, but our troops, just do it. So Thanos' ship is just pounding the earth. Pounding the ground with these rockets. And the sorcerers use their powers to keep it all at bay. Doctor Strange is back. Everyone's here. Iron Man says to him, is this the moment you expected? Is this the one we win? He says, I can't tell you. So if I tell you, it won't happen. As it's meant to be. So they fight on. Everyone is battling. But everyone is fighting. Obviously Thanos has got all his army, including the children of Thanos. Giant Man, Ant-Man becomes Giant Man, crushes Cull Obsidian. Everyone's just battling left, right and centre. Thanos wants to get the Infinity Gauntlet because he's realised that he was wrong when he wiped out half the universe. Only in the sense of the other half will not accept what they've been given. They're too preoccupied with what was taken away, they won't accept what they've been given. So his new plan is to snap everyone out of existence and create the universe anew with a populace that has no knowledge of the pre-snap world. So because of that, that's his new plan. So they still need the gauntlet, so that's what we're fighting for. So then it's just a massive battle, everyone. Spider-Man's got the gauntlet, gets passed around a bit. Black Panther gets the gauntlet. He gets knocked down. Spider-Man gets it. They're trying to get it to the quantum van to get all the stones back to where they were. The van gets destroyed. Spider-Man gets beat down. Captain Marvel takes it up. Got this, kid. He says, there's a lot of people between you and them. And then he'll rescue Pepper Potts in her suit. Appears and says, okay, we've got this. And all the female characters. So Captain Marvel, Rescue, Scarlet Witch, Nebula, the Wasp is back, Mantis, Maria Hill, Valkyrie, all stand together. And people got, oh, it's so cynical, all the girls start together. But there was a 7-year-old girl behind us who jumped up and actually shouted girl power when she saw it. That scene was for her. That wasn't for me. That wasn't for him. That scene was for that little girl who saw all of these women on screen fighting for what was right, and she saw herself in those characters. That's what that was for. So they're all going through. Captain Marvel comes down. I've jumped a little bit there as well now. Captain Marvel comes down from the sky. So the bombardment stops, and she just destroys Thanos' ship. She just flies through it. Woof, woof, woof. And Thanos just looks at it and says, WTF? And she's got the gauntlet. Thanos actually gets the gauntlet. Gets it on, and he's about to snap. But Captain Marvel's grabbed him. And then Thanos headbutts her, and she doesn't even move. And it's like, Thanos can't believe this. But he manages to get the Power Stone. And uses the Power Stone punch and whacks her. So she's blasted away. And he's about to do the snap again. Where Iron Man grabs it. He's trying to get the gauntlet. And then he gets swatted away.
And then Thanos goes to snap. But it just makes
I am inevitable.
Just snaps and it just makes a clink noise.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know Iron Man actually took all the stones, put it in his own gauntlet made in there, and he says, I am Iron Man. Snaps.
Which again is an amazing callback to the beginning of this whole universe. At the end of Iron Man 1, he says, I am Iron Man. And that's him just first publicly acknowledging and accepting who he is. Whereas at the end of this movie, is he knows who Iron Man is, and he is Iron Man. And he snaps.
Thanos' entire army starts disintegrating.
Yeah. And then Thanos disintegrates as well. And the heroes win. But we've got a problem. The power of a god struggled to contain the Infinity Stones. The Hulk got badly damaged. Tony Stark, underneath his suit of armour, what is he?
Just a human.
He's just a human.
With a reactor.
Yeah. And basically his entire right hand side of his body is pretty much destroyed. You know, it's burnt to a crisp. He's broken. And Pepper's there and she's crying and Peter Parker's there and he's like, it's the inverse of what happened on Titan. And Tony Stark dies. Iron Man dies. And he's dead, he's gone. And people say, oh, there's no stakes, everyone came back. Yeah, but we always knew that was going to get reversed. We always knew that. That was always going to happen. But Tony Stark is dead. Iron Man is dead. Gamora, our Gamora, is dead. Although 2014 Gamora, we don't know where she is. Vision never shows up at all. He's still gone. Although with Shuri coming back, there's the theory that she actually managed to download his conscience at the end of Infinity War. So with her back, she can now upload that into a new body. Why we think that's going to happen, we'll talk about a little bit in a second. But yeah, she's gone, Black Widow's gone. Vision, for the most part just now, is gone. And there's no bringing her back. They weren't changed by reality, so it can't be done. And then we have the funeral for Tony Stark. And everyone's there.
Yeah.
So the original Avengers are there, apart from the ones who are dead, obviously. The original Avengers are there, Hawkeye's there, Hawkeye's family's there, Maria Hill's there, Nick Fury's there, he's back. The Guardians are all there, the Black Panther group are all there, and Harley Keener, Ty Simpkins, the kid from Iron Man 3 is there. It's a nice little touch. And I wonder if that's going to mean more than just that one little cameo. I wonder if that'll mean something. So Tony Stark is gone, but we still have one little thing left, which is we still need to take the Infinity Stones back
to their
time. And basically from there, Captain America decides that he's going to be the one to do it. They have to just go back to where they were when they took the stones. So the Tesseract goes back to 1970, the Mind Stone goes back to the end of the first Avengers movie, Power Stone goes back to the start of the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, so timeline isn't messed up in that regard, apart from locating the Tesseract at the end of the first Avengers. But even from there, he's probably gone to Asgard, which is where Thor went with it anyway, so even that might not be too much of a stretch. The Soul Stone goes back to Volmir, which is going to be interesting because it means Captain America met Red Skull again. And that would have been an awkward conversation. It all happens off screen, but that would have been an awkward conversation. And does returning the Soul Stone mean you get the soul you gave back? Would that bring back Natasha? I don't think it does. It did or will, because the Soul Stone was still used. The soul was traded to have a use of the Soul Stone, so it's still there. And they do the thing where for Captain America it'll take as long as he needs to give the souls back, but for us it'll be 5 seconds. Yeah. So they send him off on his time travel. He goes and does his thing, and then they go to bring him back, but he doesn't come back. And they realise what he's done when they look over and they see an old man sitting on a bench over there, and it's Captain America with a wedding ring on, but Bucky's there and Falcon goes over and speaks to him and says it's going to be a strange world without Captain America in it. But it's not going to be a world without Captain America in it.
No.
Because Falcon has been given the shield and he is now Captain America. And that happens in the comics. Bucky becomes Captain America first. Bucky didn't mind. Bucky was happy with that. Bucky was happy that he got the shield. So Falcon's your new Captain America. And Steve went back to when he disappeared. So he disappeared at the end of Captain America the First Avenger, which means that version is still what we got through all the Avengers and everything else from that point. Then time looped on itself because Captain America of the Infinity War period went back to the day he disappeared and went back to Peggy. So it's a closed loop for him now. And he got to live out his days as an old man, happily married with Peggy Carter. He got to have his dance that he said he was going to take a rain check on. And that was possibly the perfect happy sad scene of a movie. Yeah?
Yeah.
And it gave us our happy ever after when the movie ends. And again, like we said, it's exhausting in the best possible way, this film. Action set pieces are phenomenal. Everything about it is just amazing. And like I said, and like we said in the previous section, it's a definite 5 out of 5 from us. But I've been doing a lot of talking, so I'm going to pass this over to my Padawan, Josh. And Josh, what were your top 5 moments of Avengers Endgame?
Well, my top moment was probably everyone else's, the final fight between the heroes and the team.
It's a good fight, yeah.
The whole time travel bit.
Well, revisiting the old movies.
Yeah. That was just cool. Go seeing Fatful in New Asgard.
Yeah.
The
Korg!
The Professor Hulk scene with in the cafe.
One more, what was your 5th top moment in the movie?
When Ant-Man couldn't eat his taco.
Yeah, he made himself a lovely little taco, didn't he? And then Nebula landed, didn't you?
Yeah.
And then blew them away. But Professor Hulk gave him some tacos.
Yeah.
I think my favourite moments, if I had to go, was Cap wielding Mjolnir. Again, these are probably in no order and they'll probably change if you ask me tomorrow. Cap wielding Mjolnir is a great one. Professor Hulk pretending to be Angry Hulk is just hilarious. Seeing everyone come back, Tony and Peter hugging, and Tony giving him a genuine hug, which is a callback to Spider-Man Homecoming when he didn't hug him, he was just reaching for the door. So many cameos. It's such an amazing movie. But I think we've blabbered on far too much. Go and watch this movie if you haven't seen it already, although you're probably not watching this part if you haven't seen it already. If you have seen it, go and watch it again. I know I'm going to go and watch it again. This is the pinnacle. It's an amazing time to be a comic book fan. It's an amazing time to be a movie fan. I can't wait to see what they do next. Obviously, Far From Home is out in July. They probably aren't going to announce anything beyond that coming out in July. Although we do have TV shows because Disney Plus is up and running now. So there is a TV show which is basically, there's a couple of TV shows. There's WandaVision, not sold on the name, but it's a show with Scarlet Witch and Vision in it. And it is going to be the same actors. There's a show with Bucky and Falcon getting their own show as well. again with the same actors, so they're going to be interesting. Loki's getting his own show also, so we might find out where he went, and they're all on Disney Plus. Then, of course, Sony acquired Fox, so they've got all the X-Men back. They've got Fantastic Four, so this is amazing as well. So I don't think until Far From Home, which closes out Phase 3, is done, they're not going to release anything. Although, like we were touching on, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, Doctor Strange 2, Black Panther 2 are pretty much guaranteed. But thank you very much for everyone involved in the creation of this movie. Thank you very much for watching. Leave your comments down below what you think of the movie, what your favourite parts were, and we'll see you again on the next video. Goodbye.